Hi, Muchismo Eugene. Welcome to another video from Exit Strategy. Please like, subscribe, share, give a thumbs up to this video if you found it helpful. Pass it on if you believe someone else will benefit from it. I'd appreciate that. Post-awakening. You're awakened and you're in tune, or you're growing into becoming in tune with both yourself and your surroundings, namely people and their energies that they carry. This is something that undeniably that you have experienced, whether you are aware of it, conscious, or paid it any attention or not. I'm going to help you understand what you experienced in this particular instance. And if you can relate, I would delight in hearing your comment in detail. You are awakened, and this is a person that you happen upon. Let's say family member, let's say a friend in the street, or an acquaintance. Let's do an acquaintance. Someone that you don't hang out with, but you run across their path. Let's say just people you see frequently in passings, let's say in the store or the service station, and they say, hey, how you doing, whatever. And you have a different continence, you have a different mindset, you have a different aura, you have a different look. Because whether you're in tune to a strong degree or not, you are different because you are locked into this newfound awareness. Narcissists recognize this, and this is what you will experience. They will push up on you and do what they've always done. But the thing is, now that you're awakened, you're not moving in that way, in that shape or that fashion anymore. They are robotic. Every time they see you, they will say or behave the same way. You didn't pay attention to it pre-awakening or post-awakening. Now post-awakening, you pay attention to the difference in a way that you normally would not have. And you're moving a different way, because what you realize now is that you're not predictable. You're not the robotic type person that you were in reciprocating their, hey, how you doing? You're not as jubilant. You're not as just forthcoming as you was. You're very, I want to say methodical, but you're very paced. You're very conscious. Conscious would be the best word. And because you're conscious, it causes you to pay attention. It causes you to approach a person differently than you normally would. You're more reserved. And so when they come up on you in the way that they have in times past, you, with this newfound awareness, where you ain't doing the most anymore, they are taken back. And when you're paying them attention more so than you did before, they get silent and they look at you. You might say, and you reciprocate, say, I'm doing good, how about you? You will see that inflatable personality. It'll go like, hey, how you doing? And you'll see some of the air come out of them. They will stare at you as you're saying, I'm doing okay, how are you? They won't immediately reply back. And if they do, they'll have this little stupid grin like, I'm okay. And they'll have a somber stare at you. Whereas they're trying to figure out, do you know? Because they're petrified. They are scary people. They are always on pins and needles. And because they're always on pins and needles, they want to put you on eggshells. So all they're doing is an energy exchange when, as before, you wasn't awakened. Now you're awakened. You can see the curved ball before it leaves their hand. You know all this mimicry that they're doing is just doesn't feel right. It doesn't look right. It doesn't seem right. And because you're reciprocating this very conscious fashion, it throws them. And so that silence will last for a few seconds, and they will probably follow up with like, what's going on? What you been doing? What they're doing is trying to temperature check you. They want you to break that, what do you call that in the air? That they want you to cut that that awkwardness in the air, because they are awkward now. They're feeling super awkward because they can't figure out what's going on with you, but they know something is different. So in the back of their mind, they could be very well saying, does he know I'm a thief? Does they know I'm a two-time and conniving, lying, cheating, deceitful, despicable? Stop me anytime. But anyway, you're just conscious. And because you're conscious, you respond to them in that fashion. They are petrified because the only thing they're thinking about is their own ass. Do they know that I'm no good? Whatever they're thinking in that fashion, they're really thinking about their self. It's self-preservation for the narcissist. And because you're silent and you are a man or a woman of few words now, looking them in the eye, as before you would be like, when they say, hey, how are you doing? Be like, hey, yeah, I'm doing okay. It's because what they do, all they do is throw their little curveball and their pitch at you so you can swing. And what I mean by that is you begin to load them up with every detail of your life. How you been? What you been up to? And vice versa. The narcissist will also ask you how you're doing in some cases when they can see that you're not in a so good mood. They can see your countenance, or you in deep thought. Say you're trying to figure out how you're gonna take care of certain affairs in your life, be it a bill, or you might have a crisis in the family. They don't know specifically what that crisis is, but they can tell that you're going through a low place in life, which all of us do. And they can tell you in thought you're trying to figure things out. How you doing, man? I'm doing okay. How are you? They will in turn, because they're doing a twofold thing. They're trying to extract every iota or intel from you, because they're going to use that as leverage. They're going to use it as leverage for smearing you. And they're also going to use it double dipping. Use that conversation to cut and paste the conversation with someone else down the line, because they don't have a conversation. They're going to adopt your conversation. And they may, I was talking on it, and they'll use that whole thing that you did, whether it was personal, something that you would never divulge to someone else in confidence, they would divulge that whole spiel to someone else. And what that does is give them a reason for the season. It makes them look significant in life, is what I'm saying. And the twofold purpose is they can ask you how you're doing, and you can say, I'm doing okay. How are you? You the empath. When you say, I'm doing okay, how are you? The twofold purpose is they are hoping that you ask them how they're doing. And this is when they load you up with every single thing that's going on in their life. Excuses, qualms, problems, because they're trying to extract sympathy from you. They're trying to extract empathy. They're trying to extract attention, adoration, admiration. They could be bragging about something that happened at their kid's football game, basketball game. They'll go a mile a minute about them. So that door they open with that, how are you doing? They could give a damn how you're doing. They could care less how you're doing, because they are anticipating you're going to ask them how they're doing. And so what this does, it gives them time on their shooting clock. It's give them more time in the game of bullshit. Without your conversation, the narcissist has no conversation. So that's where I'm going with this whole situation here, or this narrative. They will become petrified when they see you, because they see you in a different way. Now you're a whole different character. It's kind of like they don't know which way to go now, because they're thinking, do they know? Have they figured me out? And they're partially right. Not only have you figured them out, you have come to a point where you understand that not only this narcissist is full of, you have realized that the world at large is full of it. And you're moving accordingly. They sense this, they know this intuitively. Their dark energy immediately recognizes this in you. And what you do in response to this, you definitely don't tell them. And this is what they would do to temperature check you, to see if their hunch is right. They'll ask you something like, what's going on? You seem different. They won't say you're acting different. You seem different. How I know this is because this was an experience. This has been experiences. And a lot of these things are coming from experiences. I've ran into people that I've once been acquainted with. And you'll find yourself not going over and out of your way to avoid people who you now recognize as narcissists. But you definitely don't make it your business to interact, engage, or frequent the places that you see them at. They pull up to a gas station. Many times I'll just go to another gas station, or I'll just sit there in the parking lot. I got tinted windows. I'll leave my windows up until they leave. Because what I'm trying to get you to understand, I'm not afraid of them or anything that they possess. They are more afraid of me. But what I don't want to give them is my time, my attention. And thereby that translates and equates to energy for them. Last video, I said your time. If you can learn to regulate your time and nip it in the butt, when you run into these people, such as I just said, it'll be like, how are you doing? You're saying, I'm doing good. Good to see you. On your way, as you're grabbing that door, you're talking and walking at the same time. You're not giving them even an inch of your time, or you're not giving them a glimpse of what's going on with you. You're out of there. And I found that if you never ever learn any other tactics as an awakened empath, if you stop it at the core with your time, you zap and remove your time, removing yourself from that situation, and don't end up giving them don't end up lying to them in a big way, putting yourself over a barrel. You don't have to make up a lie. You can just generally say, hey, good to see you. I got to get going here. I got something I got to go do. Busy. Just generalize it. And you don't look them in the eye when you're doing it. This kills them. I was in my therapy session the other day and laying there. Boy, my God, the narcissism in that place. I've known it. I've always known it. I see it all the time. I tolerate it. They will act like they are the celebrities of whatever capacity they're in. And what they're doing is looking for fans. And you can see those unawakened ones looking around at that voice, because that voice of that narcissist is on high. They have no regard to the fact that there's many people in a room. You can't even have a quiet conversation amongst yourself and the person next to you, because when a narcissist is in the room, they're trying to distract that whole room. They don't just want the person they're talking to see and pay them attention. They want every head or every mind and every set of eyes in that room on them. They want an overload of energy and fuel. They don't just concentrate on one person, because they're greedy. They are greedy. They are obsessed, greedy, succubus. They drain the life out of a room. And so I just ignore them. I just lay there, or I didn't take my phone the last time. So it was a little bit nerve-wracking, but I got through it because I was just like staring out like this. Then all of a sudden I just laid my head back and I just kind of closed my eyes, not really looking really sleepy, but like I was in a meditative state. And this afforded me the advantage of just listening to them yak. And the one who was in charge, he began to come in and talk about, woe is me, I had this and that to do, blah, 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 blah. They always want you to know that they're in charge, but what they're talking about has no rhyme or reason. You say to yourself, how did they get to this position of being in charge? But before you finish asking yourself that question subconsciously, you already know how they have arrived at that position. They've kissed ass, brown nose, snitched, ratted people out, lied on people, connived their way through. Played go for this, go for that. And they finally got to that position that they wanted, that they ran their tongue out of their mouth to get to. And now that they got it, just the headwinds of what problems they have to deal with, or what problems exist in this or that. All they do is grumble and complain, guys. But to this end, this is how you will experience narcissists who you have known and been acquainted with pre-awakened. You didn't know they were narcissists. Now, post-awakened, you know, when you happen upon this person that you've known before you awakened, the tentacles go right up, and you're like, wow. Because subconsciously, you're thinking about all the interaction you've had with this person before you awakened. And now you're running it back and it coming full circle to you and the verdict is in. You're like, man, that's a narcissist. The one that they're always in a jubilant mood, but it was all robotic. Nothing, they didn't give any more or less. Every time you saw them, you almost, looking back now, you can anticipate exactly what they're going to say. Hey, what's up? How you doing? Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's up? How you doing? Hey, they don't add anything to the conversation. They don't take anything away, because what that does is that, hey, how you doing? That is literal. They need to know. It's not that they're concerned about how you're doing. The how that you're doing is, in their head, they push record. They're asking you how you're doing is, how can I incriminate them? How can I smear them? How can I defame them? How can I just drag their name in the mud? Because they need this intel. Because most of the time, even before you awaken, you were doing good, even when you were doing bad. They're envious because you can always crawl up out of the slums in the mud and you find yourself back to your feet. They can't figure that out, how you're able to do that. And so what they need you to do is make that nonsense make sense, because in their warped mind, they can't figure out how you're able to do it. How you're able to do it is because you don't spend time measuring your failures by somebody else's successes. You get in where you fit in. They're in competition and you're not. You're just trying to do well in life as best you know how. Sometimes when you come up short, if you look back, you came up short most often. If you search your life, there was probably a narcissist somewhere in the bushes that threw a wrench in your plans or your situations. Even though you didn't see them, that's what happened. Because in and of yourself as empath, you're able to be resilient. You're able to fail short term, but win long term. So if you had this experience and you had this interaction with a narcissist that you didn't know before, but now realize that is a narcissist, and you engaged with them and you gave them little to no conversation, and they looked at you with this petrified silence, they were wondering either whether you know that they are no damn good, and they wanted to know whether you were really in tune with the BS. But you don't let on to them that you know that they're foolish, you know what. And so when they ask you that question I was referring to, it like, hey, you seem different. You say, yeah, you get older, things change. You just get older and nothing stays the same. You just say something general, and then you'll see them relax, because then they believe in their little pea brains that, whew, man, that was close. I thought they knew I was no damn good. I thought they had figured me out. But little do they know, it really wasn't about figuring them out. You have been awakened in a way that Trump's figuring them out. There's a bigger picture of your awakening. And that's really what they're trying to do. They're temperature checking you to see to what degree you are in tune, how much you know about this or that, and what you know. And you really don't want to be able to, you want to not share with them that you are awakened to the BS that you know about narcissists. You don't want to divulge that. When I first awakened, it was some people that I spoke this to that now looking back, I know that was a reckless endeavor. See, this is the only platform that you really can talk freely about this, and you have the meeting of the minds. But just generally speaking out in public, to speak about this, if you're not directly speaking to a narcissist, which oftentimes you are if you're talking about this subject, and unbeknownst to you, even awakened, there are some narcissists that are so smooth and they're so covert. You will only know that they're narcissists by just engaging with them and being just like a casual observer. Let them do the talking, most of the talking, but you're observing them. And a lot of times you won't realize that they're narcissists just by what they're saying. It will be in conjunction with things they're saying and their body language and just gestures and how they're concerned with everybody else in the bar when they're supposed to be talking to you. They're looking around and their voice is like up here. So these are telltale signs that these people need to be needed. They need to be recognized. And before I close, this is one thing that I found as well in talking about this a little more freely when I first awakened to people that I probably shouldn't have. But there's no regrets now, because I know the people that do know that I divulged different things to, God's plan. They pretty much are behind the scenes doing what they do best anyway, trying to smear and tear down people who are aware and awakened to the BS. And that's fine and well, because God protects you, but you have to have a level of discretion being awakened, and you can't just air this information out just anywhere you think you can, because you'll look crazy. They will become tone deaf, And you'll end up getting frustrated because you feel like nobody cares about this as much as you do. They do. They're toning it down because they want to throw you off of the scent. And that's fine. What you know is for your benefit, so you can empower and enable other people here on these platforms so they can come and eat what they will from the plate and leave what they leave for other people. That being said, bless.